Today is the first part of a two-part series on a very hot topic, and that's how do you take the keys away from your loved one? Now, I'm getting most of these facts from the website Verywell Health, and they've gotten most of their statistics from AAA. So I'm going to read this information to you just to make sure I don't miss anything. Here are some facts according to AAA. 80% of people aged 70 years or older suffer from arthritis, which makes turning, flexing, and twisting painful. All of these movements are necessary for driving. More than 75% of drivers aged 65 or older report using one or more medications, but most don't know how the medications affect their driving performance. Fatal crashes that involve death and dying, fatal crashes increase beginning at age 75 and rise sharply after age 80. In other words, the poor existing health of seniors makes it more likely that they will be badly injured in an accident. By the year 2030, now that's only 10 years away from now, by the year 2030, 70 million Americans in the United States will be over age 65, and 85 to 90% of them will still be licensed to drive. I was told of an elderly couple recently that had more than 3 accidents in 3 months involving their car, the rental, and a new car. Fortunately, no one was injured. So how can you tell when your elderly loved one is starting to have driving problems? Now, this is whether or not they have dementia. If you live close by, the best thing to do is to observe directly. Distinguish between serious and less serious signs of trouble. For example, confusing the gas pedal with the brake is very serious, whereas riding the brake is less important. If driving problems are really dangerous for them or others on the road, take immediate action. If less so, it's not so much. Over time, observe, take notes, and look for consistent patterns. These facts will help when having a conversation about taking the keys away. So what are some of the things you need to look for? Here's a list. Struggling to change lanes. Problems turning, particularly left turns. Driving too slow or too fast. Slowed reaction time. Other drivers honking at them. This is very important because the honking can scare your loved one, and it can also create road rage in the other drivers. Another thing to look for involves hitting the curbs. Look at their tires and rims to see if you see any scrapes or punctures. Another thing to look for includes following signals, signs, and road markers. If they're having trouble doing that, then that's a serious problem. Also look for scrapes on cars. Often older adults are going to start self-correcting, and that's another sign. So they'll start self-correcting by avoiding driving at night, in bad weather, and on freeways. You may also find it helpful to check with friends or neighbors because they're going to know more than you do, more than likely. Also, do a Google search on their medicines to find out the side effects to determine whether or not they impaired the driving skills. Now, this is the first segment. It's kind of basic. But on our next segment, on next Wednesday, I'm going to cover starting the conversation, age limits and driving tests, and making the transition easier from driving to no longer driving. Thank you. Take care, and I'll see you next week.